Oh my god, we got changes. Holy shit. Guys, W in chat right now. We got changes released 6 minutes ago. 6 minutes ago, W right now. I'll link it in chat. With Season 2 now in full swing and following the Mythic Raid being fully cleared, we've compiled a major set of tuning changes to address over and underperformance in all types of group content. We're planning to make the following adjustments with scheduled weekly maintenance on Tuesday, March 25th in this region. Hell yeah. All right, let's see what they're doing. Let's see what they're doing. Classes, DK, Frost. All ability damage increased by 4%. Does not apply to PvP. Okay, is Frost getting a PvE change? Vengeance Demon Hunter. So these are some PvE focus changes, it looks like. But some of them are going to apply to both. So Demon Hunter got changed. Cool. Druid Balance. All right, so they buffed Boomkin 30% on Wrath, 5% on Star Surge, which goes through into PvP as well. So this is a PvE and PvP change. That's pretty crazy. I feel like Star Surge already hits kind of hard. It's always their hardest hitting spell. So 5% just extra damage on your main burst. Okay. Loon's Chosen, Lunar Calling. Increases Starfire damage to his primary target by 160, was 100. So they got some Starfire damage as well. Guardian got a buff. So Boomy got some pretty decent damage buffs. I feel like Boomy right now is decent. The main thing I would say right now is they're not tanky enough because damage is so high. They're not tanky enough to just sit there and trade with everybody and be, you know, immortal spamming clones like they usually are. But they actually gave them 2 damage buffs. I don't know how much the Wrath damage buff matters. The Star Surge buff actually does matter, of course. Don't know how much this matters because this is a talent, I believe. Devastation, Evoker. Fix an issue where the final tick of Disintegrate would not benefit from Titanic Wrath or Iridescence while talented into Azure Celerity. I don't even know what the hell that means. Does anyone even know what that means? Developer notes. The Narubar raid tier set bonus was too strong and was causing players to not want to equip new gear from Undermine. Reducing the effects of... Okay, so they're just nerfing the old tier? Okay. The 2 set for Evoker, cast Shattering Star at 100% effectiveness. That's pretty insane. So they're buffing the tier set to be 100% Shattering Star effectiveness instead of 50. Okay, so they actually buffed the 2 set for Devastation and buffed the proc rate. Wow. And then they buffed the 4 set too. So Devastation, dude, are they going to offset that in PvP? These are some pretty crazy buffs, I feel like. Like, Devastation already kind of pumps. I don't think they're over the top right now or anything, but Dev Evoker does crazy damage right now. All right. Aug Evoker. Dude, Aug Evoker is so bad, they got a 15% buff to everything. After our last round of tuning, we're pleased with augmentation support capabilities as that's the strength of the spec. However, their personal damage contribution is lower than we'd like. We're buffing their personal damage to bring their overall output up without further increasing their support. 15% damage. Dude, they just got a straight up 15%. Like, you never see stuff like this. 15% to everything. All right. I mean, Aug is definitely kind of garbo, so it can like kind of one-shot you right now, but outside of that, it sucks. So maybe they'll be better with this. I mean, 15% damage is always going to be useful, so maybe they'll be played a little bit more. Preservation. All right. Same thing. Same thing with with Evoker, or sorry, with Devastation. They're nerfing the old tier set. Oh my god. Unless they nerf this for PvP, in my opinion, right now, the best healers are Disc Priest, and then underneath that is Shaman. And then I feel like Monk and Evoker are pretty similar, as well as Druid. Druid's like right on the cusp of being insane. And then Pally and Holy Priest. Holy Priest being the worst. That's what I think is the current healer tier. Evoker, I feel like, is really close to being insane. And they're getting 5% healing and then a 20% buff to Spirit Bloom. Holy shit. And they're getting a damage buff? Oh no, Living Flame does not count for PvP. Okay, so they got Disintegrate damage buff. If it was Living Flame, it would have been better. Holy crap. So they get some better mana regen as well with Energizing Flame. I mean, this is huge, man. This is huge. Evoker's getting 5% healing and then 20% Spirit Bloom. That is insane. Okay, Beastmaster is performing well, but we have a few planned changes to address some quality of life issues as well as a few bug fixes. They buffed Dark Arrow or Black Arrow from Dark Ranger. Changed Withering Fire to just prioritize targets that don't have the Black Arrow. Fix the pack leader bug. Withering Fire shoots additional. Okay. Survival Hunter. So that was for BM. Increasing the frequency and power of pack leader summons for survival to help make this hero talent more appealing. All damage dealt increased by 4%. Wow, okay. So survival got a damage buff already a couple weeks ago. They nerfed their burst damage with their flanking strike, but then they buffed their overall like 5% or something, and they're getting another 4% overall buff. Pretty insane. Okay, so they buffed pack leader. I never see anyone play pack leader for survival, but 4% damage overall, and then pack leader specifically got buffed. Maybe survival would be better. It's definitely the worst of the 3 hunter specs, but I don't think it's bad. A marksman. Dark Ranger's performance is lower than expected, so we're making some substantial tuning changes to bring them closer to where we'd expect. We'd like Phantom Pain to be a compelling source of damage and worth playing around in Mythic Plus and AoE scenarios, especially when combined with True Shot and Withering Fire. Explosive Shot buff by 15%, volley damage buff by 25%, so this seems like PvE, right, with their volley. Dark Ranger Black Arrow damage buff by 50%, holy shit. Okay, so they buffed the duration, buffed the damage, buffed Phantom Pain, buffed Bleak Powder. I don't know how much damage this does now because people haven't played Dark Ranger Marksman since last season, but I remember before they nerfed it initially, it was really good. So maybe Marksman will just crush now with this build. Mage. All damage dealt increased by 8%, does not apply to PvP. So Frost and Arcane got a damage buff, but they don't apply to PvP. Fire actually got a damage nerf that also applies to PvP. Oh, here we go. Moonwalker. A lot of changes here. All damage decreased by 4%, does not apply to PvP. Slicing Wind buff does not apply to PvP. Mistweaver. So I'm assuming we're going to see a lot of these classes get PvP nerfs, but we're not even close to We're not even close to finishing the changes. So we're decreasing Mistweaver's overall damage while leaving their healing relatively unchanged. Spinning Crankkick has still felt a touch weaker than we would like compared to the rest of the Mistweaver's kit. So we're increasing the damage of Spinning Crankkick alongside these changes. All damage decreased by 25%. Does not apply to PvP. Okay. Jadefire Teachings now increases. Okay, so they nerfed their damage. Doesn't apply to PvP. Buff their Ancient Teachings with Jadefire Teaching. Doesn't apply to PvP. Spinning Crankkick damage applies to PvP, but no one really presses that. And then Awaken Jadefire. Jadefire is just a bonus stomp from Phaeline that gives you Spinning Crankkick. So they're just making Spinning Crankkick way better with Mythic Plus. Holy Paladin's throughput has been below our targets, so we are combining an overall buff with targeted increases to a few spells we'd like to feel particularly more impactful. All healing increased by 3%, and then they're also buffing Word of Glory and Eternal. Dude, Pally's getting crazy buffs. Like, this alone is huge. We don't even need the rest. 3% healing overall, and then Word of Glory and Eternal Flame get 20% buffed. I played Pally earlier, and their healing didn't feel too bad. And I don't even have weapons yet. So that's pretty crazy. Okay. Light of Dawn healing increased by 20%. Holy Prism AoE and damage increased by 30%. Holy Prism single target healing and damage increased by 50%. Ooh, I wonder how much that's going to do. Right now in PvP, Holy Prism heals for 950,000. So it heals for about 1 million in PvP. Barrier is 600k, and then obviously your extra healing. And that's getting what? How much are they doing? 50%? Damn. I wonder if you're going to play Prism now. Most people end up using Barrier all the time just because you end up getting more value if you're able to cast and get more globals off on Pally. Barrier does infinitely more healing. But Holy Prism now is getting a 50% buff to its healing. So you're going to heal people with Prism for 1.5 million every time. No, before Mortal Strike. No cooldowns before Mortal Strike, 1.5 million. Okay. I mean, maybe people will actually play Prism. Shield of Righteous damage increased by 30%. So Pally got some good changes, man. Pally got some good changes. They're definitely, unless they offset this in PvP, like these are pretty big. Even these two alone is crazy. Like these two talents alone are crazy. 3% overall and then 20% on Word of Glory. Holy Prism we'll have to see, but 3% overall in Word of Glory by 20 is a massive buff for Pally. Red Paladin, dude. Paladin got a 20% final verdict buff. No. I don't want to fight Red Paladin Warrior again. All right, so Paladin's already kind of smack. I don't think Final Verdict's one-shotting people right now, but it already hits decent. It's got a decently hard attack. So we get 20%. Okay. I mean, cool for red. If you're a ret, hell yeah. I never really see rets too much, so maybe we'll see more rets now. Holy Priest. Here we go. Our aim with this Holy Priest tuning is to increase healing from weaker spells and talents. Dude, Holy Priest is getting the pentakill of buffs, dude. They're getting the Infinity Stones when it comes to buffs. Prayer of Healing increased by 25%. Prayer of Mending increased by 20%. Renew Healing by 60%. Lightwell by 30%. Divine Image by 20%. Divine Image damage by 20%. Bro. Okay, so they're getting more Divine Image damage. They're getting more Holy Fire damage. They're buffing Renew by 60%. Holy shit. Okay, so Renew on Holy Priest right now is like 7% of your healing or so most times. And that's getting 60%. Okay, that's crazy. I think that's needed. I mean, Renew needs to be more impactful, in my opinion. Prayer of Healing buff is crazy. Like prayer of Mending, sorry. Prayer of Mending buff is crazy. So 20% prayer on your palm. 30% Lightwell's nice. Lightwell, I feel like, is not good at all. And that's getting some love. Oh, here we go. Renewed Faith now increases healing done to allies with Renew by 10%. So now you're getting 4% more healing overall when you have Renew up. So normally you have Renew up all the time anyways. And you get 6% more healing on that target with Renew. And now that's going to be 10%. So just a 4% buff to your healing on top of the palm heal, on top of the Renew buff, on top of the Lightwell buff and the Divine Image buff. You don't really play Divine Image anymore, but maybe now you will. What is this? Renews for Empowered Renew. Now heal for... Oh my god. They buffed Empowered Renew as well? Holy shit. I played Empowered Renew the last time I played Holy, but it didn't feel that good because it just wasn't doing anything. But now Renew's getting a 60% buff and they're buffing Empowered Renew. Dude, Renew might just pump. Renew, if you play this talent, which gives you more Renew healing, but it gives you a CD on Renew, maybe this pumps. Renew might actually just do a lot of healing now. That's crazy. Oracle. And Oracle increase the duration. Okay. Increase the healing of Palm. Dude, holy shit. Holy's getting a lot of changes. No pun intended. So Oracle Holy Priest is getting some good buffs. I like playing Archon, but I might have to play Oracle now. They're getting a lot of buffs. Okay. So more palm healing in general. So it looks like they're giving you more palm healing and more Renew healing on Priest, as well as giving you more individual healing by having the Renew buff be 10% instead of 6%. Wow. Okay, so Holy Priest got a lot of HPS with this upcoming fix. Shadow Priest got a 3% nerf. Don't think that's going to do much. I feel like they're really strong right now. Don't think this will do much, but it'll keep them really good, just not over the top, probably. Lenience now, dude, they nerfed Lenience. We don't even play Lenience when we play Disc Priest. They nerfed Lenience to 2% damage reduction instead of 3%. Atonement now causes spell damage to heal all targets affected by Atonement by 32%, was 35%. Okay, so no, not to PvP. Okay, so Disc didn't get any overall changes besides Lenience. None of this affects PvP. Ellie Shaman. Elementals performing lower than we'd like in single target, and our changes to Primordial Wave in Season 2 left it feeling a bit lackluster. We're increasing damage of several core spells and significantly increasing the damage and Maelstrom generation of Primordial Wave. So Ellie got some damage buffs or damage transfers a few weeks ago to get away from their Overloads procs. Now they're getting another damage buff with that, so they're getting more Lava Burst, more Lightning Bolt, more Ice Fury, more Frost Shock. More Maelstrom from Primordial Wave. And Primordial Wave does 500% damage. Okay. 2-piece. Fix an issue that caused Totemic Projection to apply insurance. Using Surging Totem. They buffed your insurance 2-set for Resto Shaman. 2-set already does a good amount for Resto Shaman. Okay. Demo got a 3% damage buff. Funny enough, we actually played Demo today. Didn't feel too bad, but 3% damage. Love Prot Warrior. All right, here we go. PvP. Holy shit, this is crazy. We actually just read so many changes, and now we have PvP specific changes. Developer notes, we're adding a healing reduction effect to rated battlegrounds and battleground blitz this week to reduce potential for stalemates in these modes. This does not affect unrated battlegrounds. Similarly, 2v2 arenas are being drawn out where there's when there's a healer on both teams, so we're increasing the starting healing reduction 2v2 to allow for initial kill opportunities to be viable earlier. Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong. 2v2 Arena starts at 30% dampening, right? Now 2v2 is going to start at 40%. 40% dampening when you start the game. That's insane. I feel like if this doesn't say how 2s is, I don't know what else. I don't know what else you need as an indicator of the 2v2 bracket, where the game starts out at 40% dampening. All right. I think this only includes healer versus healer. I don't think this includes double DPS. I think this is healer versus healer. All healing done is now reduced by 10%. So they added a 10% dampening to RBGs and BG Blitz, which I feel like is fine. I mean, I think it's in their notes, right? You get a lot of stalemates in that mode. I would assume higher rating as well. So, all right. DK, we're aiming to improve Death Knight defenses against other melee specs while increasing the damage of some underperforming abilities. So they buffed the Vampiric Strike for Sandlin for Blood and Unholy. Blood Forged Armor is 4 second. It's a 4-second buff and a 25% reduction instead of 20. So this hero talent's pretty solid. People always play this into Warriors and Windwalkers when you're a DK. And they're actually buffing that by a decent amount. So, okay. That should definitely help them a little bit. I feel like DKs get eaten alive right now by like Fury Warriors and Windwalkers, so this should help a little bit. Especially against Warrior. Windwalker has like random nature damage and stuff, so Warrior this would help for sure. And like BM Hunter and Marksman Hunter and stuff. Soul Reaper's damage to targets below 35% increased by 75 in PvP. I don't ever really see Soul Reaper being crazy, so 75% maybe helps that. Boomkin. We're increasing the damage of multiple bounce spells and reducing the spell's reliance. It's the spec's reliance on Harmony of the Grove for burst potential. We're also looking to increase the spec's survivability by removing the PvP reduction on Frenzy Regen. Ooh. Holy shit. Are Boomies back? Oh my god. Just take me out, dude. Just take me out. Take me out of this timeline. So they buffed Moonfire Sunfire by 33%. So two of their biggest damage spells just get buffed by 33%. Okay. They took off the Frenzied Regen reduction. Frenzied Regen is nerfed by 38% in PvP. Now it's going to not be nerfed, so that's a crazy buff to their defensives. Oh, but they nerfed their Keeper of the Grove, Harmony of the Grove thing, which I think this is... Isn't this when you have Treants out, you get a damage buff? Okay, so this kind of offsets it. These changes are new, yes. So Boomy's going to be better for sure. I mean, you get baseline more damage with Moonfire, Sunfire. You're tankier now with the Frenzy change. So Boomy on top of they got a Star Surge buff earlier too and a Wrath buff. They're going to be a bit better for sure. Okay. Feral Druid. Tireless Pursuit nerfed to 25% was 40. So Ferals are going to be a little bit slower with Tireless Pursuit. Oh, wow. Oh my god, this is huge. This isn't a massive change, but this is definitely a solid change, I would say, to all Feral comps. Ferals are going to have a slightly weaker Mortal Strike effect. So their Mortal Strike effect is normally 20%. Now it's going to be 16. I mean, even taking 4% more healing than before against Feral is pretty big, man. So, damn, that's crazy. They didn't do anything with their damage, but they nerfed their Mortal Strike and their speed. Interesting. Resto Druid. Resto Druid's going to be tankier, too. Their Frenzied Regen no longer decreases, or is no longer decreased by 50%. So, Frenzied Regen is nerfed by half in PvP for Resto, and now it's unnerfed. Damn, dude. I mean, I feel like Resto Druid, one of their big problems is that they're not really tanky. So, this helps for them. And Balanced Druid is going to be tankier and just do a little bit more damage. So, dude, Boomy might be back. Boomy might be back. Ferals, I feel like, are still going to be really strong, but maybe they won't be as god tier. I don't know. Mages. Writing some reductions to the power of mage mobility and defensives with emphasis on arcane, which is especially tough to chase. Overpowered barrier is something we're excited to see used. We feel the 5-second duration is too high to encourage the gameplay we want from this talent, which is for enemies to consider waiting for the barrier to expire to continue attacking. I'm not going to lie. Does anyone else feel a bit confused by this message, by these developer notes? We feel the 5-second duration is too high to encourage the gameplay we want from this talent, which is for enemies to consider waiting for the barrier to expire to continue attacking. Blizzard is basically saying that when mages press barrier, they want you to just not attack them for 30 seconds. Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. So whenever a mage presses barrier, you should just not attack them for 30 seconds or until your dots slowly break the barrier. I'm not sure if that's the correct design that we should be having, but it's 5 seconds with the PvP talent. I mean, even 5 seconds is ridiculous. Like, so they don't want you to attack a target for 5 seconds in PvP, like 4 seconds now. Is that not strange? Let me rephrase my statement. They want you to stop attacking a mage for 4 seconds because they press their shield that has a 25-second cooldown. That's so weird to me. Like, imagine if Shadow Priest had Power Word Shield, which they do, right? And they press Power Word Shield, and it's like, yeah, we don't want you attacking Power Word Shield for 3 seconds. It just seems like a weird change. It seems like a weird design philosophy where you want this talent to make it so people stop attacking you because you press your one spell every 20 seconds. This seems weird. You finally catch up to a mage with all your mobility. They have nothing left. Oh, never mind. They press shield. LMAO. I feel like it's just a weird shield. I don't know. It's whatever. They ended up nerfing it as well to 4 seconds instead of 5. They nerfed their barrier diffusion. They nerfed mage shields a lot. Holy shit. So they're nerfing the effectiveness of all their shields and speed talents for mage. Okay. They nerfed arcane. They nerfed chrono shift speed as well. 10% instead of 25. Holy shit, dude. The arcane got some massive nerfs. Arcane Surge now increased damage by 15%, was 20. So they nerfed their burst of Arcane Mage, but they buffed Arcane Surge damage. I mean, the actual damage of Arcane Surge isn't really scary. I don't think that's really going to change here. Like, you're never scared when they press it. You're scared afterwards, you know? So I guess they're buffing the actual damage, but nerfing the bonus. I feel like Arcane's still going to be okay, but I mean, they're definitely going to be easier to attack, right? Like, I think they'll still be good, but I mean, maybe they won't be with all these changes. Like, Arcane, when they fight these melees, its damage is so high, is actually kind of squishy. Just wait. When you actually connect to them, they're kind of paper. So maybe now, if they're slower, the barrier lasts 1 second less, which is, 20% nerf in duration. If we're being, we're talking relativity here. And they're slower. I don't know. Maybe Arcane Mage won't be as good. I feel like it'll still be good in kiting like Warriors, maybe, but Frost also got the same thing with Spellslinger. Hunter. Okay, so they buffed Black Arrow above, but then they nerfed it, and then they nerfed their 4-set for Marksman. Is this still like a net positive for Marksman, though? Because if we scroll up, they're getting 50% Black Arrow damage, and then they're nerfing by 15. Okay, so I feel like this is still a net positive for Marksman Hunter, though, right? With the Dark Ranger build. They are nerfing their 4-set, though. Celestial Conduit healing for Windwalker increased by 50%. Not sure how much this matters. Last Emperor's Capacitor now increased the damage of Crackling Jade Lightning by 300%, was 400% per stack. Windwalker got a nerf to their big one-shot with Crackle and to their Slicing Winds. So this is a massive nerf, I feel like. When you fight Windwalkers, it feels like they kind of just one-shot you at every moment of the game. And now that's getting changed. So they're probably still going to have high sustain, like, they're still going to have high sustain damage, but they aren't going to be sitting there completely one-shotting your team anymore, it looks like. Or at least not as often. Mistweaver. I'm very curious to read this because I feel like Mistweaver is in a really good spot right now. So let's see. Mistweaver's general throughput has been lacking since the changes to Jade Empowerment, and we would like Celestial Conduit to be a bit more impactful. To be a more impactful cooldown as its effect can feel lackluster when split between several players in PvP. So they nerfed mana regen for Monk 40% in PvP instead of 50. This kind of makes sense because Monk just has insane mana, I feel like. I feel like Monk has really good mana regen, honestly. With Manatees and being good with Manatee especially, it feels like Monks don't really So... Oh, I see. It's a buff. Oh my god, they're actually buffing their mana. Oh my god, I read it wrong. You guys are the smartest viewers in the world. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. I'm not sure about that. They're actually buffing their mana. I just said that they had really good mana, and they buffed their mana, so they're going to have really, really good mana. Okay. Celestial Conduit healing increased by 50%. A lot of people right now play the other build, but maybe now you'll play Celestial as Mistweaver again. I guess we'll see. They buffed Vivify healing, Enveloping healing, and Renewing healing? Holy shit. Dude, Mistweaver got some banger buffs. What? Dude, Mistweaver got a mana buff? Celestial Conduit, maybe, if you play the other build, maybe it's insane now. 50% buff to that could be insane. I feel like Mistweaver already is, like, pretty solid. And they actually got a major buff, dude. 25% Vivify. Let me go to my Monk right now. Look at my Monk's healing in some of these games. Guys, if you're a Monk player, listen up. If you're a Monk player, do not log in until Tuesday. If you main Mistweaver Monk, do not log in until Tuesday. Just wait till Tuesday. Even though it's good right now, I think it's pretty good right now. Just wait. Just wait. Save yourself the stress. Just wait till Tuesday. And then log on Monk. This was a 2-minute game for me, by the way. So here we go. This game right here was 2 minutes. Can you see it on the screen? This was a 2-minute game. They buffed Vivify by 25%, Enveloping by 25%, and Renewing by 40%. So if we assume that we don't get overhealing from this... Holy shit, dude. Healer tier with changes? I don't know how I'd even rank the healers, man. I feel like... We got to keep reading the changes on. Let's keep reading. I did not expect that at all. That's an insane buff to Monk. Paladin's also got a massive buff. What the hell? Okay, so Blinding Light no longer removes damage over time effects from enemy players. You won't have Rep Paladins running up and just blinding all your dots off. So that's nice. That's nice to see. Okay. All right, so that's a huge change in my opinion, because Blinding Light doesn't break instantly. And now, you won't be in a position where you run up to blind people that are stacked. So this is basically just like this is literally just like a noob change. This is just like a noob change in my opinion. Like, this is for all the noobs that run in and like blind all your dots off and solo shuffle. Like, that's what this changes. This is for all the noobs that just run in and blind every single dot you have off your target. And solo shuffle and like LFG. So, and like Battleground Blitz too. I would assume that a lot of Paladins and BGs run up and blind all your dots. Yeah, the noobs are playing at 3K. Yeah, you're right. There are some Paladin noobs up there too that are doing that. Never me though. I would never blind off dots. I would never blind off dots ever. So here we go. Paladin, they actually buffed their wall as well. So Divine Protection got a buff. Extra 5%, which means what? You're going to have 35% now on wall. So Holy Pie is going to have a 35% wall. Rep Paladin has a 15% wall. Blade of Justice got buffed by 20%. Damn, so Pally got more damage buffs in general. They got a 20% on Final Verdict, 20% Blade of Justice. They already got buffed a couple weeks ago on their smaller damage spells, including Final Verdict. And then they also buffed Wings again. So Wings is a 15% damage buff instead of 10. Did our Rep Paladins back? Guys, quick yes or no. Quick yes or no, ladies and gents. Our Rep Paladins back. No bias, of course. No bias. No bias in this answer. Our Rep Paladins back, yes or no? They got 20% Final Verdict, 20% Blade of Justice. They got a buff on their wall, and they got buffed on their wings. What are we thinking? In the 1400 shuffles? Bro, relax, man. There's no way it's only at 1400. All right, Priest time. Damn, Disc Priest got a crazy nerf to mana. So I feel like the best mana classes now are going to be Druid, Shaman, and Monk. Priest got a massive nerf to their mana regen. And they got a massive Evangelism nerf, too. Holy, oh my god. And they got a massive nerf to their tier. Bro, Disc Priest, is it over? Is it over? Are Disc Priests going to be trash? Are they trash? Let's be honest here. Mana nerf, 25% nerf to their biggest cooldown. And then they nerf their 4 set. Bro, that's crazy. That's a crazy nerf, dude. They got the trifecta, dude. They got the triple whammy, dude. All right. I feel like Disc is still going to be played in a lot of games, but maybe they won't be as insane. That's what they get for being S++++ tier. True. Wow. Okay. We actually are going to have to do a healer tier. Developer notes. Between these changes and the game-wide changes above, we're looking to improve sustained healing. No. I don't want to fight Rogue Mage with a Holy Priest anymore. I don't want to go back to Shadowlands. Guys, we're going back to Shadowlands. We're going back to Shadowlands. They buffed Rogue. Or sorry, they buffed Ret Pally. They buffed Holy Priest. They buffed Evoker, which Evoker wasn't in Shadowlands, but we saw Dragonflight Season 1. If they buff Warrior, dude, I swear to all things that are holy in this world, dude. I'm going to scroll down later, and if they buff Warrior, let's continue reading this. So they actually buffed Holy Priest mana regen. Oh my god. They buffed Holy Priest mana regen. They buffed Flash Heal. They buffed Heal. They buffed Serenity, Sanctified... Dude, Holy Priest got buffed in everything. They got buffed in everything. They got buffed in Renew. They got buffed in Palm. They got buffed in Mana, Flash Heal, Heal, Serenity, Sanctified, Palm again. Is Holy Priest going to be the God healer? Like, is this going to be the GOAT healer on Tuesday? There's no way, right? There's no way. Maybe it will. Like, these are crazy, man. So if you scroll up to Holy Priest here, they got 20% Palm, 60% Renew, 30% Lightwell. You might play Divine Image again. We'll see. It's hard to say with the talents. Oracle got buffed as well. So they buffed Oracle, and they gave them a slight damage buff, and they buffed Empowered Renew, which actually I think is pretty decent. And they buffed their healing increase with Renew on their targets. And then you scroll down, and they just buffed all their spells again. And they buffed their mana. Yo, Holy Priest might be insane, dude. Holy Priest might actually be insane. Oh my god. I guess we'll see, because the thing about Holy Priests is they don't have damage reduction. So we've talked about this a ton. No, so the PvE changes above are for the overall game. It's not, if they're PvP specific or PvE specific, it will tell you in the notes. The changes above also apply here. So the changes above are for both. Dude, I feel like Holy Priest got massive changes, dude. Like, this is crazy. We've talked about this a ton. Holy Priest is only good and only top tier when they have insane HPS. When Holy Priest has insane HPS, then they're good. They're only good when they have that. Like, unless Rogue and Mage are there to carry them with pressing stun, like pressing Chastise on a target, they are only good when they have unbelievable HPS. And they haven't had that since Shadowlands Season 3. And then before Shadowlands Season 3, you know, since I'm a bit of a WoW historian, that made me feel really old to say. The last time they were really, really good was in Legion, when they had... in Legion, if you guys didn't play it, Holy Priest could basically press Palm against any caster comp and just AFK for 30 seconds. Like, Prayer of Mending was just half your healing. You could just press Palm and AFK for 30 seconds. It was so disgusting. So Holy Priest, even in MoP, it was the same thing. They just had crazy HPS. So Holy Priest in PvP is only good when they have crazy HPS. And, I mean, they got some massive buffs, man. That's crazy. 8% to all their spells. They got all these Renew buffs up top that we just saw. A mana buff as well. Wow. Outlaw Rogue. Preemptive Maneuver now decreases damage taken by an additional 15% in stuns, was 40, and reduced the cost of feint. Okay, so they nerfed the Outlaw Rogue feint spell. Okay. So Outlaw, that's weird that they only nerfed it for Outlaw. I feel like that's kind of weird. All right, let's go. Let's keep going. They buffed Tempest Salami. That was so annoying. They buffed Tempest 20%. No one ever plays Tempest, really. Actually, I've seen a few Ellies recently, so maybe that'll be better for them. Enhanced Shaman. Dude. Our aim is to increase Enhance's overall sustained damage while reducing some of its burst. Okay, never mind. I didn't read the start. I just read all of this that said increased damage. I just talked about how Enhance does crazy damage right now, too. So they buffed Storm Strike and Wind Strike, so Ascendance is getting buffed for Enhance. They buffed Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning. They buffed Ice Strike. They buffed their Healing Surge, but they nerfed their Primordial Storm and their Wind Fury damage. Okay. I mean, Wind Fury, when I fought an Enhance today, was like by far their top damage. They were playing Surging Totem too. They were just pumping damage. It was crazy. So now they're just getting less Wind Fury damage, but more sustain. Okay. Interesting. More Healing Surge healing too. So now you can have more self-healing. That's cool. Affliction. The Undermine class set bonus now applies 2 UAs instead of 3. Okay, that's cool. You get 2. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Why did you guys not tell me to just close it? I didn't want to read this, man. I didn't want to read this garbage, dude. I didn't want to read this garbage. So they buffed Arms Warrior. I feel like Arms Warrior right now, if we're going to be completely honest, is decent. It's decent. I don't think it's insane. I don't think it's bad. I think it's like pretty solid. Some matchups that you play against his Arms feel really good. Whenever I fight Smexon, he just sits there and like demolish one-shots people already. Now they're buffing your execute. They're buffing demolish. So they're buffing your demolish. They're buffing your execute. The Bladestorm buff I understand because Bladestorm, for whatever reason, Bladestorm on Arms does nothing compared to Bladestorm on Fury, which I don't know why that is. Okay, so they're getting a Bladestorm buff on Arms, which should help a little bit. Not sure how scary that is. But the execute buff and the demolish buff are huge. All right, so we only want to do healers. We only want to do healers. Dude, oh my god, I don't know where to rank anything. I don't know where to rank anything. So when you consider the healer tiers, you have to consider what DPS are good and what DPS were buffed or what DPS were nerfed. So we're only going to do healers. This is only healers, once again. Who cares about healers? Me. I'm a healer main. I care about healer. I'm a healer main. That's all I stream is healer. Me, man. Dude, I actually don't know where to rank anything. Okay, so let's do this. This freaks me out. I don't like doing stuff like this because I'm too ADD for this shit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rank the way I think healers are now, and then I'm going to change them because of the nerfs. So right now, the best healers are Priest and Shaman. And then I would say Evoker, Monk, and Druid. Where's Druid? I put Druid here, put Pally here, and then I put Holy Priest like right there. So this, in my opinion, is the current healer tier. I think Disc is by far the best healer. I think Shaman's a bit underneath them. So I guess I shouldn't say by far. I think Disc is the best healer. I think Shaman's a bit under that. I think Monk and Evoker are similar. Druid seems a bit closer to Monk and Evoker than it does Pally. And then Holy Priest is at the bottom. Now, what do we know from these changes? So from these changes, they're nerfing Disc Priest a lot. So they nerfed Mana, Evangelism, and they nerfed their tier bonus. And they also nerfed Lenience by half. So it's, or by 33. So it's 2% instead of 3. Holy shit, dude. Okay, so we'll move that down. So we're going to move Disc Priest down 1. Oh yeah, they nerfed Atome a little bit. Just a small percentage, right? Evoker got mega buffed as well. Dude, this is crazy. This is crazy. I don't know where I'm going to rank everything because I feel like Monk and Evoker are already solid. And Monk got huge buffs. Evoker got a pretty big buff. But I have to consider the meta. Dude, is there a world where Mistweaver's the best fucking healer? Is that even possible? There's no way. No, there's no way. There's no way. I would say because of Rets and Warriors getting buffed, I'm going to put Shaman here. Dude, this is fried because I feel like Shamans are so good, but if more melee are buffed, then I feel like Evoker is going to be better. Holy Priest is definitely going to be at least B tier, bare minimum. Like, I don't know what healer is going to be bad because I don't think Disc Priest is going to be bad now. Druid got a survivability buff, and they already seem decent. Holy Pally got massive buffs. Mistweaver got massive buffs. Prez Evoker got massive buffs. Shaman stays the same. This is awful. Is everyone just A tier? Like, this doesn't even look right. Here, I think this is going to be the outcome. I think this is my guess. I feel like Pally and Druid are going to be good still. Actually, if the game comes down to mana, then Disc Priest sucks ass. See, that's what's annoying, because if the game comes down to mana, like, Disc Priest is going to be trash. It's RMP meta, how is H Priest not S tier? Well, they nerfed Mage a little bit, right? Dude, maybe it's this. Maybe it's this, bro. They nerfed Arcane. They didn't nerf Frost, really. They nerfed Arcane, though. What if this is the secret fucking meta, dude? We'll put Monk above Shaman. What if this is the secret meta, dude? Guys, this is why tier lists are so funny. Because when you sit here and you try to figure out what's good and, like, estimate, and it's all for fun, You always have people that come in and they're like, bro, this tier list is fucking delusional. What are you even talking about? Didn't you see the classes that are winning? You're an idiot. And it's like, bro, I literally am just guessing. I don't know what the fuck's gonna be good. Every time, dude, tier list people just love them. They love tier lists. Dude, I don't know what's gonna happen because I feel like Monk is already good. And Monk is getting massive changes. I feel like Holy Priest got the most insane buffs I've seen in a long time for a healer. I really feel like Disc Priest will still be okay, but like not... I feel like it'll be in B. Like, I don't think B tier is bad. Like, this B tier doesn't mean they're bad. Dude, I don't know if I want to say Holy Priest is the best healer. I don't know how I feel about that, but because this is a tier list and this is for fun, we're going to say YOLO. I'm actually really excited for this patch. I feel like this is going to change up the entire game, dude. Like, the healer changes alone changed the entire game. So, Disc Priest got nerfed, Evoker got buffed, Holy Priest got massive buffs, Holy Pally got buffed. Like, that's crazy. New expansion on Tuesday? Yeah, I mean, we're literally playing a new expansion, right?